All right, let's talk about winning arguments. Not by being the loudest person in the room, but by being the most logical. Today, we're diving into how to build arguments that are so clear and so solid, they're pretty much impossible to ignore. Let's get into it. You've been there, right? You're trying to make a point, and you just know you're right, but it's not landing. What if you had a kind of secret weapon that just makes your ideas click? Well, that's exactly what we're talking about today.
So this secret isn't really a secret at all. It's actually a classic technique that goes way back, and it's called logos. Let's break down what it is and exactly why it's so incredibly powerful. At its heart, logos is all about appealing to people's sense of reason. It's the part of your argument that's built on a rock-solid foundation of facts, evidence, and just clear thinking. It's how you walk someone step by step right to your conclusion. Now, you've probably heard of its siblings. Pathos, that's the one that tugs at your heartstrings, and ethos, which is all about building trust and credibility. Logos is different. It doesn't care about feelings or reputation. It just relies on cold, hard sense.
So why even bother with logos? Well, because it makes you sound like you know what you're talking about. It makes your arguments so much more convincing because it shows you've done your homework. Your ideas aren't just opinions anymore. They're based in reality.
Okay, enough theory. Let's get practical. I'm about to walk you through 6 essential tools you can start using right now to build way more persuasive arguments. Think of this as your personal logos toolkit.
First up, the most important tool in the whole kit, facts. We're talking simple, verifiable statements that nobody can really argue with because, well, they're true.
Check this out. You could say, I feel like classrooms should be quiet. Or you could say, over 70% of students report they learn better in a quiet classroom. You feel that difference? One's just an opinion. The other is a powerful, provable fact.
All right, let's level up from facts with our next tool, statistics. There's just something about numbers that makes people sit up and pay attention.
You know, saying bullying is a problem is one thing, but when you say 1 out of every 5 students has experienced bullying, wow, suddenly the scale of that problem is crystal clear, and your argument has so much more weight.
Okay, so facts and stats are great, but sometimes they can feel a little impersonal, right? And that's where our third tool comes in handy, giving really good, concrete examples. See? A simple sentence like this helps your audience actually picture the problem. It takes this big, abstract idea like distraction and turns it into a real-world scenario that we can all instantly relate to. So, examples make things real. Our next tool, cause and effect, shows how all these ideas connect. It's all about drawing a clear line from point A to point B, showing how one thing directly leads to another.
Notice how this creates a logical story. It's not just a bunch of random points. You're showing that because A happens, B is the result, and that causes C. This step-by-step logic is incredibly hard to argue with.
Our 5th tool is a classic, and for good reason. Sometimes the easiest way to show that your idea is the best one is to just put it right next to the alternative.
When you put it like this, the better choice just becomes obvious, doesn't it? By comparing the outcomes of late versus early start times, the logical conclusion just kind of presents itself. You're basically guiding your audience to the right answer without having to spell it out. And that brings us to our 6th and final tool, and this one's fun. Sometimes, the best way to make your point is to ask a question that really only has one logical answer. This is what we call a rhetorical question, and man, is it powerful. It frames the whole issue in a way that makes your conclusion feel like simple common sense. You're letting the audience connect the dots themselves, which makes your point land even harder.
So, to help you get started right away, here are some awesome phrases you can just drop into your conversations. Think of these as little signposts that tell everyone, hey, a logical point is coming.
We've looked at all the tools one by one, but the real magic happens when you start putting them together. So let's see what that looks like in action. Just listen to how beautifully this flows. It starts with research, then connects it to a cause and effect with as a result, then it gives us a real-world example, and finally it draws a logical conclusion with this shows that. It's a perfect combo of multiple tools working together. And that's the key takeaway here. A really strong argument isn't just one thing. It's a structure. It's built by weaving these different logical tools together, with each one making the whole thing stronger.
So you have the toolkit now. The real challenge isn't just about being heard. It's about building arguments that are so clear and well-reasoned that people actually respect them. That's the real power of logos.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. With these new tools in your back pocket, what's the very first idea you're going to go out and make more persuasive? Whether it's at school, at work, or just with your friends. Thanks for watching.